Well, hello and thank you for joining us. It is a great day to be alive. God is moving, he's shifting, but one thing that I know, he is an on-time God. My guest on today, Dr. Dr Smith, is here on set with me, and I'm so excited because God has really, as I say, anointed this young man for such a time as this, and I'm grateful that he decided to stop by the Tammie Dr studio here so that he could empower our guests. God bless you. I have to shake your hand because God has been faithful.
Thank you for having me today, Tammie.
Oh my, thank you for saying yes to the calls. You've been on a mission from God since you were a little boy, haven't you?
Amen. Yes, I have. From the age of 10, God just led me and gave me the vision to become a doctor.
Wow.
I wanted to do something different with my life. I didn't want to be the same as everyone else. I wanted to be unique in my own way, shape and fashion. I went out, I wanted to become a cardiologist.
Cardiologist at the age of 10?
Yes, at the age of 10.
So what were you reading, researching? What were you doing at that, age of 10? Most young people, young boys at that age are cars, or those kind of things, watching cartoons, but here you are planning your career already.
Exactly. So what interested me most at that age was science.
Yeah.
Science and math. I enjoyed doing math problems. I enjoyed watching just National Geographic health shows, anatomy, things of that nature. That intrigued me at an early age. And it made me want to go out and say, a doctor, I can help people out. I can be of service to people. I can help my family members out. I can help my friends out. Wow. I can do so many things as a doctor. And that just really resonated in me, and it got in my spirit. And at an early age as well, I just began to pray. I come from a praying family,
Amen.
A family that's in church, generations of pastors, ministers, deacons. Those
so it
just
was
resonated.
there. It was almost like God had selected you, even as a young child, to say, this is your life. And you received it and said, I trust you, I surrender. Now, you are originally from where? I'm
originally from Columbus, Mississippi. At the age of 17, I moved to Noxubee County in Macon, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yes.
Were there any odds against you growing up? Because you're 27 now, a doctor, and some people are like, wow, how is that possible? But we know the word, all things are possible.
Amen. Amen.
If, and that's the thing, you believe.
Right.
You believe that, correct?
Correct.
So how was the journey? Were there some obstacles or some things that you went through? Some times when you just like, I don't know if I'm really going to make this, or were you just like, failure is not an option?
Oh yeah, there were definitely some obstacles. Growing up, I had humble upbringings.
Yeah.
My dad was a grounds foreman, so at that early age of about 6 or 7, I knew what it meant to go out, have a hard day's work in the sun, to rake leaves, to clean up shrubs, to do yard work, things of that nature. So I got a good sense of how to earn a dollar at a young age. And growing up, when I got to about the age of 12, landscaping wasn't fun anymore. I wanted to do something different. I said, no, this is definitely not for me. And that's when I started on the path of really, truly planning. And at the age of 17, as I mentioned before, I moved to Noxubee County.
Yeah.
The reason I moved to Noxubee County was my parents went through a divorce. And that was the first true adult decision that I had to make.
Wow.
At the age of 17.
Was that challenging for you?
Very challenging. I'm my only child. And I'm having to choose between my mom and my father. I just want to be able to go with both of them. I want to split myself in half and be able to go with both of my parents. But I had to choose. After much prayer, I chose to go with my mother.
Yeah.
And we moved to Noxubee County. The school district was very different as from Columbus, where I had been for all of my grades in high school. Moving to Noxubee County was a pretty difficult transition.
How did you adjust to that? As a young African-American male, how did you adjust to that as far as your mindset? What did you do specifically?
So one thing that I did do, and as I mentioned from the age of 12, one thing that was set in stone for me was persistence.
Yeah.
So at the age of 12, I had counselors that wrapped their arms around me. They nurtured me. They asked me, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? And I was able to go with those counselors. I was able to plan my career. They put it on paper. They made it tangible. What do you want to do 5 years from now? What do you want to do 10 years from now? What do you even want to do next year? What classes do you want to take that will set you up for success when you get to college? What classes that will set you up for success while you're in college that will help you in medical school? So those counselors at the age of 12, they wrapped their arms around me. They started getting me in honors courses, started taking pre-algebra in the 7th grade and honors courses from that point forward. So when I got to Knoxville County, I already had that inside of me. I already had that planning, that persistence inside of me. So I just had to act on it. When I got to Knoxville County, after the first semester that I was there, I enrolled in dual enrollment classes.
That was smart.
At East Mississippi Community College. Those dual enrollment classes allowed me to be able to graduate from community college 1 year after I graduated from high school.
So what year did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2009.
So in 2009, you already had basically an associate's or toward an associate's degree.
Exactly. In 2009, I graduated from high school. 1 year after that, in 2010, I graduated with my associates from East Mississippi Community College.
Awesome.
During the summer transition of going from EMCC to, I transferred to Mississippi University for Women. I took 25 hours in that one summer.
During the summer. So you still persistent.
Exactly.
No time to play.
Exactly.
Like most young people, I need some time off. No, persistence. You're still working.
Exactly.
Not 18, but 25 hours.
25 hours in the summer.
Why 25, Anton?
25 hours. I had a goal in mind at the end of high school. I wanted to be able to graduate from undergraduate in 2 years with my undergraduate degree. So after I graduated from EMCC in 2010, 1 year later, I graduated with my bachelor's from Mississippi University for Women. At the end of my bachelor's, I applied to medical school. I didn't get in the first time, so I went on to University of West Alabama.
Stop.
Yes.
You applied to medical school.
Right.
You didn't get in.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts at that moment?
At that point in time, I feel like I didn't know. I didn't have a mentor that was there for me. I didn't have someone that I could see that was ahead of me. I didn't have those same counselors that I mentioned before. I didn't have someone that was a doctor that could really pour into me and say, do this, this, and this.
That direction and guidance that you
Exactly.
need. So of course, I'm sure you pulled into that spiritual guidance. Okay, here I am, Lord.
Exactly.
Where do I go from here?
Exactly,
Okay.
and I'm glad you mentioned that. So one thing that I can say, spiritual covering.
Yeah.
Going through this whole entire process, as I mentioned, I come from a praying family. Without spiritual covering, I would not be here today.
My God.
Spiritual covering meaning praying, staying constantly in the Word, and persistence. Not just being in the Word for 1 month, 2 weeks, but constantly being in the Word, constantly growing, getting new revelation, constantly having that relationship with God, and having that extended relationship with God that, hey, I'm trusting in you. I have that faith the size of a mustard seed. I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to lean and depend on you to get me where I'm going to go.
Wow. You know, even as young as you are, so much wisdom. I can tell that you've had, like you say, that covering, spiritual covering, that family that prays for you.
Yes.
And your mind was made up, I'm getting out of this. I want more for my life. I want you to, right now in this moment, there may be some people that are watching us via Facebook Live or those that will watch the broadcast, just speak life to a young male or female that says, the odds are against me. Yep, my dad, my mom, they're divorcing, or they may not have money as far as scholarships, but they have a hope and a dream to further their education. What would you say to them at this very moment?
Yes, so if you have a hope and a dream, keep that dream. Speak that dream into existence. As I mentioned before, you must be persistent. Persistence comes from staying in your word, staying focused on your dream, maintaining your dream, and investing in yourself. And not only that, having accountability. Accountability can come from your family. It can come from a spiritual accountability from God. When you're in the Word, the Spirit will convict you when you're wrong.
Yes.
So when you're out there in college, in high school, when you're with your friends, have friends that can keep you accountable. Friends that will say, hey, you don't need to be hanging around with those friends. You need to come with me. You need to do this. You need to do that. Remember, you said your goal was this. You need to have friends that can pray for you. Friends that can hold you accountable in that way. And last but not least, you need to most of all have spiritual covering.
Yes.
With your spiritual covering, things will happen in your favor. When you believe, when you have faith in God, you must have that spiritual covering. And not only that, being able to go to your counselors. Ask your counselors, hey, what can I do? Your counselors are there to help you. They've seen multiple children go before you. They have the will. They know the will. Don't try to reinvent the wheel yourself. Jump on the wheel and you'll be able to get there a lot smoother.
Amen.
Amen.
And that's exactly what you had. You had a village around you, you know, from the
Exactly.
counselors, your spiritual parents, or your parents, just people there that you trusted. As you said, accountability. How important is it to have accountability? I'm asking this specifically because when you got that first no that you didn't get in, of course, I'm sure you had to be accountable to someone to say, make sure I stay on course, you know, make sure that I stay faithful to the cause, or that I don't allow this to overtake me. So
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that. In church, at the age of 17, we had a service, and my uncle is the pastor.
Your uncle's name?
Pastor Ronald Cockrell.
Okay.
Yes, and Faith United Church Ministries. We had a service, and during the altar call, all the youth came up, and we spoke what we wanted out of life.
Amen.
I spoke that I wanted to become a doctor. And from that day forward, the church, they didn't recognize us as Dantwan Smith. They didn't recognize me as Dantwan Smith. They recognized me as Dr. Dantwan Smith.
Amen.
So we were speaking that into existence
That's
before
powerful.
it can even happen. And so when I didn't get that acceptance letter, the church, they never did stop calling me doctor. They kept speaking that into my life. They kept speaking that over me.
That's amazing.
And we kept praying. And the next year, I was accepted into medical school at
Amen.
Ross University. Yes.
Amen. That's amazing how you have to see it before you see it.
Exactly.
And even like you said, that first no, just another better opportunity for God to bless you the way that He desired to
Exactly.
bless you. So finally you get in. What's going on in your mind at this moment? Okay, God, I see you working. Was there some anxiety, some fears? Because it's the unknown. What's going on in your mind?
Right. So when I got into medical school, and I went on a non-traditional route, so I went to a Caribbean medical school.
Okay.
So I had a lot of friends that would say, hey, you know, are you sure you want to do this? You've never been out of the country before. You've never flown on a plane. You're going to the Caribbean. Are you sure you want to go this route?
Yeah.
You know, do you want to wait another year? Try to see if you can apply to get in somewhere else. And the mindset that I had, I was like, no, I want to go. I'm going to step out on faith.
Why was that moment a Kairos moment? Even though you had people, because you know the enemy always send naysayers and people try to
Exactly.
distract you. Why did you see this moment as a Kairos moment that I have to seize the moment?
I saw this as a moment of, this is a life-changing moment. If I don't take this opportunity, there's no telling where I would be right now. And I can truly say that. If I did not take that opportunity, and it allowed me to grow, it allowed me to get out of Mississippi, it allowed me to become, to get around more diverse population, it allowed me to fly for the first time, get out of the country for the first time, be around a different culture. Prior to going into medical school, I was not a person that would really network, that would really talk to people. I was not a person that would really do as much speaking to a lot of people. When I got there, it really nurtured me, and it allowed me to interact with more people, and I feel like now I can go up and talk to anyone.
That's
I can
amazing.
relate to multiple people. And in addition to that, my friends call me, Mr. Everybody. I know they call me, say, hey, I know everybody, things like that. When I got into medical school, I was able to network with many doctors.
My God.
Many medical students that were ahead of me. They could say, hey, this is where I messed up. Don't mess up the same way I messed up. You know, doctors that say, hey, we're going to get you where you want to be at. We're going to get you back to Mississippi where you want to be at.
That's
We're going to
amazing.
get you to your goal. And I'm going to make sure that we're going to get to your goal.
Isn't that amazing how God, even in that moment, had you covered with other
Amen.
doctors and physicians that had gone through and said, don't do this, you know, or they were there to kind of mentor you. The very thing that you had prayed for, here it is across the
Exactly.
country, across the water. So being in the right place at the right time. You can't be here when God has your blessing here.
Exactly.
So I thank God that you jumped, as
Exactly.
Steve Harvey said, and you took that faith walk. Because I don't believe you would be where you are right now if you didn't seize that moment.
I would not be. I would not be.
That's just amazing.
It is. And again, I cannot stress highly enough that, that faith, as you mentioned, you got to have that faith. And as I got into medical school, when I got on the island, I had a lot of obstacles there. Being able to study for 18 hours in a day.
Jesus.
So all those students out there, you got to study.
Oh, wow.
Man, so 18 hours in one day, being able to be persistent. That P word comes back again.
Wow.
Persistence. Just to be able to get out of the semester, be done with second year of medical school, and get back to the States where I can do clinical rotations.
That's amazing. We're going to come back and talk about persistence, accountability, discipline, and then just having a heart after God and following your, that vision, not just your vision, but God's vision, because God gave you the vision for your life.
Exactly.
And as a young child, 10 years old, you already knew. God just kind of said, hey, this is what I have for you. And you said, I surrender. Wow, God, wow. I am speechless at what God is doing, not only in D'Antoine's life, but what he's about to do in your life as well. Many times we talk about, God, do you have a plan and purpose for my life? Yes, he does. He wants to hear what you desire, and then he'll give you the desires of your heart, but you have to have, that heart to say, I trust you. Do you trust him on today? We wouldn't be where we are if we didn't just yield our will. So I want to encourage you, yield your will by simply putting your antennas up. Your right hand, your left hand is an extended hand to God, and say, I trust you. Here I am. Use me for your glory. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, new guy. Shovel, right?
Yeah, right. And I'm not exactly new. I've seen some action.
You're a shovel. Come on.
Oh, real nice coming from a rake. Ooh, get these heavy leaves off me. Hey, man, my last gig, I almost got electrocuted, nearly drowned, and went head-to-head with a metal pipe. That guy never called 811 to see if it was safe to dig.
It doesn't take the sharpest tool in the shed to call 811.
Our guy calls every time he digs. The mailbox, landscaping, the deck. Oh, man, that was a big
Oh,
job.
remember that?
That was a big one. Yeah, I remember.
Calls every time? Cool.
Calling 811 is so easy, any tool could do it. It's quick and easy. Calling 811 gets your underground utility lines marked for free. It makes every project safer for everyone. Calling 811 before digging prevents utility outages, legal hassles, and personal injury.
Hey, safe digging is no accident. Always call 811 before you dig.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be.
We're back, and I'm so happy that you're joining us on this morning. God is faithful. I'm just excited. I'm almost like just want to leap out of my seat for what God has done and is doing in this 27-year-old Dr. D'Antoine Smith right here out of Columbus by way of Noxubee County, Mississippi. God is faithful.
Yes, he is.
He's faithful, and I'm just really, it's almost like tears want to flow, because when you see God work in somebody's life,
Amen.
and you see that they have a heart and passion for God the way that you do, to God be the glory.
Amen.
For what he's doing. And not only that, thinking about, being a doctor, your hands, you have to be able to hear from God.
Exactly.
You have to be able to allow him to take control of your mind, because you got to know what to do and how to do
Exactly.
it. Exactly. When you're going in to operate, and cardiologist, is it?
Yes.
And so you're dealing with the heart. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is no joke. Somebody's life is literally in your hands. So, when I began to just think about your interview, tears began to flow, because a 27-year-old African-American young man made up his mind at the age of 10 that I want to be a doctor, and he didn't settle for less. So from my heart to yours and our staff and my family, we just want to say thank you for saying yes.
Thank you
for saying yes to God's will and for doing what you're doing for us. And I do believe that those that are watching this show, and that those that you will encounter and meet, that you're going to inspire them to become more.
Amen.
Sometimes all we need is just to see one.
Exactly.
And I believe God has chosen you for such a time as this. So I just say, go forth and conquer and continue to do what God has called you to do.
Thank you.
Oh,
Tammie.
wow. Your hands. Let's just, did you even think about that in the process of in the Caribbeans you're studying? It's like, God, I got to give this back to you.
Exactly. When I was there in the Caribbean studying things like that, Tammie, as I mentioned before, when I was 12, I changed it. I wanted to be, I changed it from cardiology to anesthesia. Went through medical school and actually did an anesthesia rotation. And me, I like interacting with people. I like being able to talk to my patients, really getting to know them on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get that with anesthesia. So I changed it back to cardiology, which was originally what I wanted to do at the age of 10. And with cardiology, I was able to talk with my patients. I was able to see how they're doing their personal lives, see them grow in their marriages, see them grow in their families, things like that. And right now, I'm transitioning into my residency program in Corinth, Mississippi, at Magnolia Regional Health Center. So I'll be doing 3 years of internal medicine up there first.
Congratulations.
And then hopefully I'll be admitted into the cardiology program there as well.
Amen.
So, but yeah, those, you have to have those hands, and you have to be able to talk to people, and you have to be able to read body language. As a physician, there's something very important. Sometimes patients won't be able to tell you everything, but if you recognize their body language and the spirit that they're giving off, you can say, hey, something's not right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's take the time out and talk about it.
So do you see this as a ministry, or do you see this as a job, or just say, you know what, I'm banking and I'm about to make money? How do you see where you are right now?
This is a ministry for me. This is definitely not just a job. This is a ministry. This is something that I wanted to do. And I don't view it as a job. I view it as an enjoyment.
Yes.
This is something that when I go to work that I enjoy doing. It doesn't feel like I'm at work. It feels like I'm helping people out.
Yeah.
I want to see people get better. I want to talk with people, as I mentioned before. And in addition to that, I want to be able to help my own community out. So I want to be able to come back home after I get done with training in the Golden Triangle area or Greater Meridian area to give back to my community, to educate them on, you know, different heart problems, educate them on preventative medicine, preventative diseases, talk about screenings, and educate them on, you know, what they should eat, healthy habits, things like that. I want to be able to provide those things to my community, and to see the community as a whole take hold of those things and take up those generations to say, hey, we're going to do better. I'm going to teach my kids this way, and we're going to do better as a family.
And that's amazing how, you know, God put you in a place, in a position so that you could come back to educate, inform, to empower, and help those that are in need for the most part. Oh, wow. So what is your motto? What do you live by from day to day?
My motto is failure is never an option.
Oh, wow.
Come from Philippians 4:13. And when I say failure is never an option, I'm not talking about failing an exam. I'm not talking about failing and not getting a job, not getting accepted into medical school. Failure is never an option. When I say that, I mean that you step forward, you take every day, and you move in a positive direction.
Amen.
If you're not even able to walk, if you're not even able to crawl, but if you're just able to scoot in a positive direction, being able to consistently move forward, being able to plan. If plan A didn't work, I'm going to do plan B. Plan B didn't work, I'm going to do plan C. And when I was in high school, I had a plan. I wanted to actually go to EMCC, then go to Alcorn, and then go to medical school.
Oh, wow. That was your plan.
That was my plan.
Make God smile, tell him.
Exactly, but God had a different plan.
Yes, he does, always.
And that is the plan that that I stuck to. It was God that guided me through, and he knew what was best for me. He knew which ways I should go that would allow me to grow as a person, and he knew which ways that I would go to allow me to be the best physician that I could possibly be.
And the thing of it is, you had a plan, but you had to trust God's plan.
Exactly.
You know, we always, we have it planned out, but what does God say?
Exactly. Exactly.
And the thing that I love about God, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and add no sorrow. When you trust him, it's nothing but joy, praise, hallelujah, because he knows what he has on the inside of you.
Right.
And he knows that the people that will be surrounded by, that will need the gift that you have.
Amen.
Wow. Amen. If you could just ask one question to your 12-year-old self, what would you ask?
I would ask, why are you allowing peer pressure to affect your mind?
Amen.
And when I was coming up in middle school, I allowed a lot of people to force their ways upon me. I allowed a lot of people to say, why are you dressing like this? You should be dressing this way. Why are you wearing those shoes? You should be doing this. And I feel like if I had not allowed myself to go up under that pressure, that peer pressure like that, And to be different, it's okay to be different.
Yes.
It's okay to go home and study. It's okay to want more out of your classwork. It's okay to have these goals of being a doctor. It's okay for that.
Yeah.
And I would go back and tell my younger self, it's okay to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Be different. It's who you are. God didn't make everyone the same.
Amen.
He didn't make everyone to have to think the same. It's okay. Be different.
Mm-hmm.
Being different is gonna allow you to get where you want to go to.
Yes.
That's what I would tell my younger self.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom. You know, you have to do what others won't do.
Exactly.
To be where you want to be, that they'll never be able to do, to be set
Exactly.
apart. And that's where the discipline comes in. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
You have to be disciplined. Although you want to party, you got to think about, is this really contributing to my vision that God has for my life?
Right.
Were
Right.
you ever at that point in your life where you had to really decipher, okay, is this a need or a want? Do I need this course, or do I want to go out and party? Those kind of things.
Exactly. And I had to make those decisions in high school, actually, because that's where my college career started, in high school, my senior year. I had to make those decisions and say, hey, I don't want to go out and party every Friday or Saturday night. I just put my social life on hold to get through my undergraduate and to get through my master's.
Yeah.
I had to put my social life on hold. And even in medical school, social life had to be on hold. You have to just isolate yourself away, study, and be diligent, as you mentioned. And as I talk to a lot of people, a lot of young people, I do motivational speaking. I go around different churches, different events to do motivational speaking. I tell a lot of youth, hey, you know, don't be like your friends. I'm sure you've seen family members or friends go on to say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, but where do you see them now? They may be on the corner.
Yep.
They may be in jail. They may be in prison. They may be incarcerated. Don't be like them. You've seen them. Use those things that you've seen. Use the testimonies from your church members, your family, that say, hey, I wanted to do this, but I went down this road. Use those testimonies. That's what I used. I used the testimonies from older people, from people that I've seen, that I know that they wanted success.
Yes.
But it was one decision that they did incorrectly.
Yeah.
And I would use those testimonies to say, hey, I don't want that out of life. I'm going to go this way. If they encountered problems with doing that, I'm sure I'm going to encounter those same problems.
Absolutely.
So I want to go down this road.
Absolutely. That's wisdom. You know, I just thank God for the wisdom that he's given you for such a time as this. 27, and my grandmother would say, and you sound like you're 60, like you already have it together, you know what to do and how. But that's because you've been in the presence of the Lord.
Exactly.
That you listen to his whispers and you know when and where to actually move.
Amen.
I'm going to ask this question. How did it feel putting that stethoscope on for the very first time? Was it real to you?
It wasn't real. And even now, now that I've graduated medical school, it still feels surreal. It feels like I'm looking at someone else, you know, but that someone else is me.
Yeah.
When I put the stethoscope on for the first time, like, wow, I'm in medical school. You know, this is what I prayed for. This is what I worked hard for. And, you know, this is just not wearing the stethoscope. It comes with a lot of work. It comes with a lot of studying. And as a doctor, you have to study every day. It's always something you can learn every day.
Amen.
And I like to take that analogy to outside of being a doctor.
Amen.
As a person. It's something that we can learn every day out of life.
Every day. You're going to have to come back. You know, I'm going to have to bring you to my school so you can talk to my students, because I'm telling you, you are just, I'm just like, to God be the glory. That's all I can say for what he's doing. Thank you again for being our special guest. Continue to do what God has called you to do. Go forth and conquer in Jesus' name. Well, guess what, you guys? My time is definitely up. I pray that you've been empowered and inspired. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. God will give you the desires of your heart. Until then, I love you and be blessed.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Championships or become famous. They join because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world. And they can respond, I became a soldier.